But I noticed in there you talk about something that came out last year that's gotten hardly any attention. Cy Hirsch, Pulitzer Prize winner, New Yorker magazine, comes out and even gives speeches saying that Dick Cheney was planning to paint up fake Iranian patrol boats, man them with Navy SEALs, and have them attack U.S. destroyers in the Strait of Hormuz to blame it on Iran. I love how you put that in your piece. That right there to the president should be plenty of evidence to open an investigation of 9/11, because you got Operation Northwoods you mentioned, you've got the Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, this seems like their favorite trick. Something you didn't mention in your letter is that letter that Gary Hart sent, that open letter to Iran, talking about, our government stages provocations, you better watch your butt. I mean, look, I know I'm ranting. Charlie, I'm glad that you put it in your piece about the whole situation where Dick Cheney wanted to stage attacks on our ships with Navy SEALs, dress up like Iranian soldiers on fake Iranian patrol boats. I mean, isn't that enough evidence right there to open a new investigation of 9/11? Not even mentioning Gulf of Tonkin or Northwoods?
One would hope so, Alex. One would like to believe such would be the case. However, as I say to the president in my letter, Mr. President, I really wish I was making this stuff up. I'd sleep a lot better at night if I were.
Charlie, we're just a few hours into your letter being published, and already a lot of media is asking the question, is Charlie Sheen serious? Does he really want a meeting with the president? You told me on the phone earlier, and you told me earlier before we were on air, that yes, indeed, you do want an interview.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would not have constructed this document if that was not my ultimate goal.
So is this letter to get his attention? I mean, I'm sure this is going to go across his desk.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And if it doesn't, if for some reason this doesn't make it into his hands and I'm never granted my 20 minutes with my president, then I would urge the American people, I would urge anybody and everybody that has a stake in this, which would be all of us, to continue to apply the pressure, to continue to ask the questions, to continue to demand the truth.
Charlie, in your gut, do you think the president's going to actually give you that interview? Because regardless, he's going to see the questions. And I mean, millions of people now are going to be reading your letter and they're going to be asking these questions. So either way, the truth wins.
And the truth always wins, Alex. The truth is unchanging, as I stated earlier. If the president ignores this, that's on him. If he accepts it, that's on me.
Charlie, your letter to the president closes by you saying to him, make sure you're on the right side of history. What did you mean by that?
What I meant by that, Alex, was that this is his chance to do the right thing. And for much too long now, our government has been on the wrong side of history.
Charlie, when I read your letter, what really hit me was that this sounded like the president. In fact, I noticed that some of the things in his responses were quotes or paraphrased quotes from things he's actually said. You did your research on this. How long did it take you to write this letter?
Yes, I did do my research and I did take my time. It was, there were some very long nights and some very long days, probably over a 2-week period. But let's face it, Alex, these people, at the end of the day, they're in show business. I'm in show business. So, these people read from scripts. I read from scripts. So it's not too far-fetched for me to grasp the nature and the style in which they communicate.
Speaking of reading off scripts, Obama won't give a speech unless he's reading off those teleprompters. And more often than not, it seems like he does the opposite of what he says he's going to do. And I noticed in your letter, you're a little bit rough on him when it comes to some of his police state activities. Were you shocked as an Obama supporter to see him go back on so many of his promises?
Was I shocked? Yes. Was I disappointed? Absolutely. Was I surprised? Certainly not. This is the political age that we live in, but we have to break out of that mold. We have to reject this. We have to stop accepting the fact that's just what they do. They just lie to us. No, because look at the history of it. Ultimately, it just leads to bigger and more damaging lies down the road.
Well, Mr.
All right, folks, we're going to come back at the last 3 minutes of the interview with Charlie Sheen, the taped interview. He was on live with us in the first hour. We'll be back live Friday with bigger, more important developments.
Well, Mr. Sheen, I want to commend you for your courage. I want to thank you for doing this interview. I want to thank you for writing that letter to the president, because our country, our society, our world has no future unless people start getting involved and getting informed. And you've just done an incredible amount of research, going through your letter with all the hyperlinks to official government documents and mainstream media. This stuff really is hidden in plain view. And tens of millions more people are now going to find out the truth about 9/11 because of what you've done. So I just want to thank you for spending time with us today and what you've done.
Well, thank you for having me, Alex. And I'd just like to say in closing that I not only encourage people to read my letter, but I challenge them to read it, and I challenge them to do their own research, to cross-check their facts. I challenge them to ask the hard questions and wake people up, and I challenge them to demand the truth.
The ball is in the American people's court. I mean, you put it into Obama's court, giving him a chance to do the right thing. But regardless, as you said earlier, we've done the right thing, just asking these questions. It's your right. It's your duty. It is the epitome of patriotism to love your country, but to question your government. And with the history we've seen of them lying constantly and being caught lying, and the WMDs and all of it, all I can say is thank God for people like you that have courage, because in serious times like this, we need good men and women. As Thomas Jefferson said it best, all that evil men and tyrants need to flourish is that good men and women do nothing. And thanks to good people like you, Charlie, we've got a fighting chance. And that time I was on CNN, and then, of course, and there's one other quote I love, and that was by Mark Twain. In the beginning, a patriot is a scarce man, hated and feared. But in time, when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. And you, Charlie Sheen, are a patriot. Thank you for spending this time with us today.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 21-minute audio interview I did a few weeks ago at his home. We have a video that's pretty hard-hitting. Aaron's been spending a week on it, and it's video Charlie Sheen editing it together. That's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing that, and then Charlie Sheen for a full, at least 30-minute, maybe longer interview coming up on Friday on 911. Today is 999.